Welcome to the 2022 Halloween Spooktackular. This is going to be the first video for this segment on this channel. We are talking about guilty pleasures of ours. Masterpieces, the pinnacles of cinema, written by James Gunn. We are going to be doing two separate videos for these, and right now we are going to be talking about 2002's Scooby-Doo. Now, people hate this movie, but I say fuck you to them. It's amazing.
There are people that hate this movie, but also there are people like us that grew up with these movies that have very fond feelings towards these live-action Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, like, fuck it. It's a terrible movie, but I don't give a shit.
It's a masterpiece.
It's amazing. It's amazing, dude. I was way up past my bedtime last night, so I was just like, you know what? Just for a refresher, I'll watch some scenes of Scooby-Doo on HBO Max. Dude, I was watching. I was like legit having a good time. Like I really wanted to watch the entire movie at that point. I should have. I really should have, but I would have been up till like 3 o'clock. That's my bedtime. So I'm an old man now.
One of the most fun days probably of my entire life was like 3 years ago when I went up to Boston, and we literally, you and I were in your apartment. We were like, we're just gonna have a marathon today. So we literally had like a Scooby-Doo day in October where we watched Scooby-Doo, this movie, Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed, and then we watched the two really bad live-action prequel movies.
Dude, Curse of the Lake Monster with Scooby-Doo Scrapbook.
It was amazing. Then we played the N64 game. Like, it was like a whole thing. It was like super fun. But yeah, the marathon, it was like these first two were a lot of fun, and then you got to those, and it was like there were a couple of really funny parts, but they weren't probably supposed to be as funny as they were.
Yeah, no, I really wish in the end that we did get an actual Scooby-Doo 3 with this cast, because well, that's actually a good segue. So let's talk about the cast. Holy shit, perfectly cast.
It's interesting because like this movie is like almost the most like early 2000s movie that you can.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't feel like a Scooby-Doo movie, does it?
It's like oozing with 2000s, like early 2000s, like Sugar Ray's in this movie.
Exactly, yeah.
Pamela Anderson
at the beginning, yeah.
But yeah, the casting. I mean, so I'll save the best for last. But I mean, it is pretty good. I think the two weak points, obviously, are probably Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Hey, how dare you? At least he was Fred, not Frank.
As much as I love them, I do think they don't really carry the spirit as much as some of the other cast members do. Like, they kind of have their own spin on it, for sure.
Well, yeah, going what you just said with their own spin, do you think that's because maybe that they changed up the characterizations of Fred and Daphne a little bit? Because Fred's not like the guy who like loves traps in this movie. He's more of like he's got like this huge ego that's inflated. He thinks that, like, he's like the leader and like the number one guy. Fred on Fred, the power of me, you know? So, and then Daphne's kind of just more like sick of being the damsel in distress, and she wants to prove to people that she's the tough girl, you know?
Yeah, so she's a badass. Like, it's like, yeah, it was fine. It's just, they didn't bring as much to it as the other two did.
Yeah.
Linda Cardellini, like, she's like...
Oh, she's Velma, dude.
She does a very good Velma impression.
Every time I see her in anything now, I'm just like, that's Velma.
Yeah, like, she was great, and I think a lot of people don't talk about her as much because she got completely overshadowed by, I mean, Matthew Lillard as Shaggy was like God-level casting, like Shaggy-level casting.
That was perfect. After he attempted to kill Sidney Prescott, he was Shaggy.
Right. No, I mean, it was just like one of the best castings I've ever seen, to the point where now in every Scooby-Doo animated thing except for Scoob, he voices Shaggy, which is pretty great.
Well, you have to admit, Pat, he is no Sharon Stone.
Oh my god.
No, Matthew Lillard's amazing though. Like, there's a ghost right behind me, isn't there?
Like, he really felt like the cartoon, like,
it was the cartoon, like, come to life in live action. Yeah.
How groovy is this, man? Spooky Island finally came through with its all-you-can-eat meal. And there's nobody I'd rather gorge myself with than you, Scooby-Doo.
My best friend.
You're my best friend, buddy. You're beautiful like a beautiful piece of pizza. Zoinks! Them peppers is like hot.
Crazy. Like he does such a good Shaggy impression, but he like brings something else to it too. Like it feels the same but also unique.
Well,
Uh,
he's always had that Shaggy voice to me. No
yeah,
matter what, like even like I know he's putting on like a slight voice in this
yeah,
movie, but even in his other roles, if you watch Scream, Without a Paddle, like he sounds like Shaggy anyways.
yeah. Do you know some of the people that were up in the running to be Shaggy?
Please don't tell me it was somebody like Robin Williams.
Uh, Jim Carrey
Oh my god.
and Mike Myers.
Oh my god. Why Mike Myers? Oh my god. That would have been horrible.
But I think they made a really good choice with Matthew Lillard.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
in fact, he's still part of the franchise. Like he's like immortalized as like the new Shaggy. Yeah, like for the past like 12, 10 years since Casey
Yeah.
Kasem died. Like
Yeah. Well, and then he did it for that didn't he do it for that Mystery Incorporated show too?
yeah, he does it for every animated thing, I think, except for Scoob had its own cast, which pissed a lot of people off. But yeah.
um yeah, I want to talk about the plot of this movie because it's so goddamn all over the place.
Before we get to the plot though, we're forgetting one primary cast member.
Oh, Scooby?
Scooby, which the CGI, it's definitely dated.
Yeah,
And
but yeah, like I was watching some scenes with Scooby last night. I'm like, it doesn't really bother me though.
yeah, even at the time, I remember some people were mad with the CGI for how cartoony he looked. Like my brother, obviously Tim has problems with a lot of movies. I remember him at the time was like, he looks like a cartoon. They should have just cast had like a real Great Dane.
How dare you?
But I think he's fine. I think the movie does a pretty good job.
Yeah, the thing I love about Scooby in this one and the second one is that they keep like the original like Scooby like sentence structure where he has like the R's like "Ruh-oh," instead of like the later incarnations where he's like saying complete sentences with like I don't like that with Scooby.
Yeah, they've
It,
changed.
it loses a little bit of the charm. This
That's
movie
shifted over the years. Yeah, he doesn't have the speech impediment as badly anymore.
this movie kept the charm of like his speech impediment and his incomplete sentences. A rack of rice?
Your mom,
Your mom reads rat fruit.
your mom, no, Scooby-Doo, your mom eats cat food. Like that's iconic.
No. The best scene of this movie is when Scooby Doo's dressed up as grandma on
Yes.
the plane, and he sees the cat, and he just starts barking. And Fred's like, "No, Velma, all you gotta do is flick it on the nose. Hey, Scoob." He flicks Scoob on the nose, and Scoob's like, "Huh?" And he just sucker punches Fred. Fucking awesome.
Come on.
Hello. Oh?
Grandma?
Velma. It's simple behavior modification. To cause a dog to discontinue any action, you simply flick it on the nose. Observe. Scoob.
Oh?
See?
That's one of the best scenes.
Best scenes ever, man.
I'm a big fan of Scooby in the part where he gets the phone call and he's like, "Go to the dark part of the woods where no one can see you," and he's just like,
Okay.
"Okay." Or I mean, the classic. Is there a Mr. Dew? Melvin Dew? Dude, Melvin Dew? I have a sticker of him in my kitchen.
That's awesome.
That's just his head. It's just his face, and then it says Melvin Dew? Question
Oh,
mark.
dude, that's awesome. That's what I forgot about Melvin.
This movie's the best. It's not terrible. How dare you?
Yeah, you get discount Mola Ram in this movie.
You do get discount Molaram, and you get Mr. Beans or
Yeah,
whatever.
Rowan Atkinson. Okay, this movie made the smart decision to actually make Scrappy Doo the villain because James Gunn wrote this movie and he's like, everybody hates Scrappy Doo, so I'm just gonna make him the villain.
It makes me a little sad because I do feel like Scrappy Doo hate is kind of unwarranted sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is funny that like he's the villain, like the real bad guy. But it's funny though, because the reasoning they give him is like to turn evil is pretty much that the gang all hated him and fucking abandoned him in like the desert.
Puppy power! No marking your territory.
But like that's kind of what you were saying with the plot. Like Scrappy's mad at them, so he unleashes like apocalyptic demons.
Dude, like this is the first like Scooby-Doo property to like actually deal with supernatural beings.
That's for you're only saying that because you've never seen Zombie Island.
Yeah, which is sad.
We have to rectify that.
It's sad I haven't seen Zombie Island.
Mm-hmm.
That Damon Rightus thing, though, Jesus Christ, that thing is confusing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird movie. Like,
it's a weird Scooby-Doo movie for sure.
It's like, the gang breaks up, which I kind of like. Like, I like
that, because their egos all get inflated, you know.
Yeah, and just seeing kind of where they go and having them come back together to like solve this mystery at the amusement park. It starts off like kind of like pretty simple. But then all of a sudden, it's like all this ancient demons that possess bodies, and they hate the sun.
They need a soul that's pure. They need a soul that's pure, so that the demons can come and rule the world, or something.
Yeah, and then get absorbed into Scrappy-Doo's body to turn him into the Hulk. It's quite the movie.
Yeah.
Tim Curry was almost in this.
It's a wild ride. The protoplasms.
Yep.
I couldn't find my body. I didn't know where else to go. Hey, I could look at myself naked.
I mean, that's a good segue because James Gunn wrote this to be like a more adult humor Scooby-Doo movie.
Exactly.
And they cut it most of that stuff out. There's still like a couple jokes that make it in there, like Mary Jane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was supposed to be like much more of a adult parody of Scooby-Doo.
Which I would have loved, I think.
And then got trimmed down. I mean, I would love to see that cut, like just in general. I think it'd be
well,
cool.
Isn't James Gunn trying to get it like revived or something?
I hope so.
Yeah. Actually, no. You know what? Do that, and then give me Scooby-Doo 3 with this cast.
Nowadays, you know that might, if they revived it nowadays, that might actually be interesting. You age up the characters.
Yeah. Make Scooby-Doo like 30 years old. An immortal dog who can't die.
Yeah, it's a good one though.
No, do not make him the descendant of Alexander the Great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a super nostalgic movie for me for sure.
Let me tell you something, folks. There was no such thing as monster.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's always fun to watch. I watched it obviously with you a few years ago. I watched it with my wife last year. She hadn't seen it in forever, and she loved it.
Yeah, it's such a fun movie to watch, just to take you back, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I remember watching this on DVD like countless times.
Oh, I did too.
It had that like really cheap case with like the like DVDs where you just pull the thing and the tab and it was it was like a green.
I remember
tab.
those. It was light green.
Yeah, it stood out in like the shelf.
Yeah, and then the second one was like the regular case, but it was like a lime yellow. Yep. Dude, the beginning of this movie too, where like they're Scooby and Shaggy are in the barrel, and then like they're on the skateboard. Skateboard. What's a skateboard doing in a metal foundry?
I don't know. I mean, I have no explanation.
Yeah, there's a lot of suspensions of disbelief in this movie.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's Scooby-Doo, obviously.
I think that's part of the strength is that it kind of embraces the cartoony aspects of Scooby-Doo,
which it should.
Yes, like I think that was smart to do. I think they found like a good balance where it's like it's live action and real, but it's still like cartoony.
Yeah, I'm really pissed that this has a 35 out of 100 on Metacritic. How dare you?
The world wasn't ready.
It was not ready for the pinnacle of cinema.
The critics weren't ready.
Yeah, no. Well, dude, can we talk about Spooky Island for a minute? Because we got to talk about these souls and all that. Oh, so it's like the people come to Spooky Island and they're normal, and then they leave, and it's just like they're like zombies essentially.
Yeah, that's super strong, and they're like,
"Hey, Dana, how are you? Are you mocking me?"
That dude's hair. I always remember his hair.
Well, dude, that was 2000s hair, man.
I know. Like, there's so when you watch this movie, like the clothing, the hairstyles, like the frosted tips on people, like
yes, the frosted tips on everybody. Yeah. Dude, The opening scene though, that wig for Freddie Prinze Jr. is so it's so hokey, but I love
classic.
it. I love it. I'm like classic Fred. They made him look like classic Fred. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I always enjoy watching it.
I wish they kept that animated opening in the
yes. I really like that. Like it's pretty like
Scooby-Doo theme.
Yeah, it's pretty hype.
Yeah. Perfect 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, A+, 11 out of 10 for me. That's our review of 2002's Scooby-Doo. Buckle up for a wild ride for Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed coming very soon. And I may do 1 or 2 more Scooby-Doo videos after that.
Do we have the heart?
Not the prequels.
Okay. I was like, dude, are we gonna go there?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the Curse of the Lake Monster, how Scooby-Doo has a book, and then he has a picture of
we should have a video just about the prequels. It could probably be 5 minutes long.
Yeah, we're talking about Scooby-Doo's scrapbook where he has a picture of Shaggy and Velma and it says traitors. Which was great. I remember seeing that and just dying laughing. So Scooby-Doo, perfect pinnacle of cinema right here. Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, they would all be proud. Pat, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at ListPatGuy and my YouTube channel, Agamotto, AGA Mato.
Nice. Big eyeball for an icon, right?
Big eyeball for an icon.
All right, you can find me at my official website, alexmaddenmovies.mystrikingly.com. All my social media links are there. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex. That's Pat. You know us by now, so we'll see you at the movies somewhere.
Ruby, Ruby, Roo!